Now, the US Supreme Court has dealt another blow, this time to the country's environmental agency by handcuffing its ability to regulate carbon emissions. It's a major loss not only to Biden's climate goals, but it also jeopardizes the country's ability to tackle climate change in the future. By a 6-3 majority, the court ruled that the Environmental Protection Agency did not have the power to regulate emissions from coal-fired power plants in the country. The decision blocks Biden's hopes of using the EPA to bring down emissions to meet global climate change goals. Set in 2015 under the Paris Agreement. Now, why is this ruling so significant to climate change? Around 25% of greenhouse gases around the world come from generating electricity. The coal, which is the dirtiest fossil fuel, powers about 20% of the US electricity. In 2021, emissions from power production rose for the first time since 2014, an increase that was mainly driven by coal use. The verdict was significant victory for the coal mining and coal power industry, as well as conservatives fighting government regulation. President Biden called the ruling another devastating decision that aims to take the country backwards. The United Nations conveyed its disappointment with the judgment.
Decisions like today's in the U.S. or any other major emitting economy makes it harder to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement for a healthy, livable planet, especially as we need to accelerate the phase-out of coal and transition to renewable energies.
Thursday's decision capped a term for the court in which the new conservative majority flexed its muscles in a way which will have profound effects on American society for the years to come. Experts say the decision could set the country back years on its path to rein in climate crisis and its deadly, costly impacts.
I think the idea that climate change is not a serious issue is so absurd it's almost impossible to contemplate, and yet the Supreme Court is acting this way. But, you know, this is not the only thing they're doing that's extremely illogical. We just saw a gun decision in New York City that affects New York City. We just saw the abortion decision overturning Roe v. Wade. So this is a radical, extremist, conservative court that's completely out of step with the American people.
Now, the court's ruling has effectively taken the authority from the Environmental Agency and given it to the deeply divided Congress. The Biden government will now have to draft a regulation for power plant emissions that will fit the confines of the Supreme Court's decision. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.